Shalom, Hebrews. I'm going to make this quick, fast, and to the point. I'm working on a video called Prophecy. And I'm going to take a minute out just to answer this. And then I'm going to get back to what the Most High wants me to do. Speaking English is not a sin. I don't know how else to explain it other than teach against the lie. The Most High told you in his word, Isaiah, that with stammering lips and another tongue, he will talk to his people. What that means is if he had a stutter, some kind of lisp, anything that made it hard to speak, he will talk to you in English. He will talk to you in Chinese. He will talk to you in Hispanic, Latin, Hebrew. It doesn't matter what language. He's going to talk to his people. Now, Matthew 5:17 tells you that he did not come to destroy the law and the prophets, but he came to fulfill. So do you believe that the Most High is fulfilling his word when he's talking to your mama and daddy? Do you believe the Most High has fulfilled his word when he's talking to your children and they can pick up the Bible and it's written in English? I'm not telling you to go out and say the name Jesus if you so convicted. If you need to say Yahshua, Yah, Ahaya, Anihaya, whatever name, Yahweh Shah, make sure that name that you're saying is back behind keeping his commandments, laws, statutes, and judgments. But don't be a stumbling block to those that call on the name Jesus. Teach them the truth. If they say the name Jesus, don't start breaking out the Hebrew alphabet. That does not bring understanding. Bring out Luke 4:16, that it was Jesus' custom to teach on the Sabbath day and read the words that they read right then and there. Don't teach against the Sabbath. Teach them that Jesus said he's the Lord of the Sabbath day. Teach them Revelations 21 and back to Acts 15, 19 through 20 and back that up with the word. That if you want to escape the second death as it teaches in Revelation, the fearful, the unbelieving, the idolatry, and then when Acts 15 tells you those that stay away from idolatry, those that stay away from things strangled with blood, but read the books of Moses every Sabbath day, they can escape that second death, then you're not just teaching them a name game, you're actually teaching them the word. Do you believe what our Messiah has said that is true? Or do you believe some other thing? He tells you with a little leaven, right? A little leaven can destroy the whole lump. Again, let's get understanding. What does that mean? Now, that's not just for Christians that statement was written. That's written for anybody that has eyes to see and ears to hear. So if you're reading a book and you say this is an error because it says Jesus, then everything that you read behind that is all full of what the word error describes as a fallacy, a mistake. You're saying that the Most High, again, he said that he could protect his word. You're saying that the Most High cannot protect his word. You're out there teaching now because you see that name or because you see something that they give off on a doctrine that it makes the whole book now have a little leaven in it. So that makes it unholy at this point in time. Holy means that it is set apart from everything else in the world. So when you read the book in English and it says, Jesus says, don't commit adultery, isn't that set apart from the rest of the world? Because you can turn on your TV and they'll show you how to commit adultery. It tells you that the name Jesus, when you read it in English, it says stay away from idolatry, stay away from Christmas. Isn't that, again, holy enough from the rest of the world? See, when you read it in English, it's not telling you to sin. That's people that's outside the book that is telling you to sin. That's the Catholic Church. That is Hebrews, according to the flesh, that tell you that you can commit adultery. There's Hebrews that tell you that you don't have to believe what the prophet Isaiah was told to by Yah. They tell you to believe in them instead. So this is just a faith issue. Do you believe that the Father can talk to you in every language that he put down on this planet? Even at the Tower of Babel, when the Most High put his confusion down there. Again, you can see in 1 Corinthians 14:33 that the Most High is not the author of confusion, but in peace in all his churches of the saints. See, if they stop committing idolatry, if they stop committing lasciviousness, if they stop committing fornication, and if they stop committing worshiping a false god at the Tower of Babel, the confusion would have been lifted from them. Because all these things that we're doing is to get you to repent and turn back to your Creator. The problem with a lot of our Hebrew brothers right now is that you do not labor in this word. You do not study to show yourself approved. That's the reason why someone comes up with a doctrine and you're so busy to turn and not teach what is actually a lie. Teach against the sin. Lying is a sin. You can point out in the words in English where there's a sin in the Bible, in the book. You don't need another language to teach it. He's giving you all the things you need, the tools you need. He tells you that you're supposed to be led by the Spirit of truth. You're supposed to be led by the Ruach. Most of you Negroes can't even speak a sentence of Hebrew. Not a whole book. You can't even speak enough Hebrew to have a conversation. And then you're looking at people that you quote unquote love, and love is the keeping of the commandments. They don't speak a bit of Hebrew. You can't speak enough Hebrew to teach them in another language, but yet you're condemning the language that the Most High has sent to you to communicate with them in. Now, is that from Hasatan? Or is that from the Father? Because the Father wants you to teach them his word. Give them the spirit of truth so they can stop sinning. But instead of you concentrating on keeping his commandments and teaching this gospel to every creature, now in your confusion and your stupor and your sottishness, you rather not teach the commandments and focus on what language they are speaking. And again, this is addressed over and over again in the New Testament, where he's telling you it's better to prophesy than to speak another tongue. But again, some of you, and again, some of this is just sent by the Most High, has been sent such a strong delusion that you rather believe a lie. That you cannot speak the other language and nevertheless speak the other language to someone that can speak it back to you. You rather teach lies. So, in closing, making this clear so there won't be no confusion. English is not a sin. If you come against a Christian and they teach you that the Most High, for example, rose up on Sunday. Well, they're getting that from the scriptures on the Passover. So do your due diligence, study to show yourself approved, take them to Matthew 12:40, and tell them that the Father sent this adulterous, evil generation. That's the one we're living in right now. Only one sign that you're worshiping him. So you got a sign. That's his oath. That's his word. That's what it means in Hebrew. And he said that just like Jonah spent 3 days and 3 nights in the belly of the whale, so will the Son of Man be 3 days and 3 nights in the heart of the earth. So you can't get Good Friday to Sunday from that. That's an easy teaching. It's actually over the Passover. And then another commandment you have after you get their eyes open to see that is to actually teach the Passover and what it means. But you got to teach all this to them in English. English is not the sin. The lie is the sin. The fact that they believe that the Most High rose up on Sunday and died on Friday is the sin. Teach days of unleavened bread. Understand why that was a high holy Sabbath day and he had to be off the cross before that nightfall came. Can you teach that in Hebrew? And if you can teach that in Hebrew, is the person listening to you can understand it in Hebrew? And if that's the case, by all means, teach his word. But if that's not the case, and with stammering lips and another tongue, he talked to his people, then by all means, talk to the Most High's people. And try to help save souls in this hour. We're supposed to be exhorting each other as we see the day approaching. The day approaching we're talking about is our Abba coming back. Is our Creator coming back. We're not talking about Santa Claus. We're not talking about the Easter Bunny. We're not talking about all the idolatry we see in the book of Jeremiah and Ezekiel. We're talking about our Father coming back to reestablish his laws and commandments on this planet Earth. Bringing Israel back into the land that we belong and scattering all these heathens to the four corners of the earth. But if they do not understand his laws, statutes, and commandments, and when he takes us out in the wilderness to reason with us one more time, their blood is not supposed to be on your hands, Hebrew brothers and sisters. You're supposed to have taught them the laws, statutes, and commandments. You weren't supposed to be trying to teach them Ebonics. There ain't going to be no Rosetta Stone out in the wilderness. The Most High is going to be able to talk to you, to your heart. He will give you another language and another name when he comes back. So, I pray for the 12 tribes that have been scattered to the four corners of the earth, that this will help you. I pray that you will come out all this foolishness that people are teaching you. Rhetoric. It's doctrine. And it's not doctrine you can find from the Father. When the Messiah was put on the cross, when he walked the earth, they said his name in 3 different languages. So why are you stressing on a tongue right now when you have a chance to save souls? If the Most High has sent you his word and woke your black ass up, and you see that you need to keep the laws, statutes, and commandments, why are you keeping it to yourself? Because they won't say a Hebrew name. All right. Shalom and peace to the 12 tribes of Israel. Keep those commandments and live. And don't keep the commandments out of some form of you're doing some kind of checks and balances. Because you're trying to dot all the I's. I'm keeping all these feast days because I'm trying to get there. You got to keep the spirit of what they are in. You got to keep these commandments because you love him. You're keeping these commandments. You keep the Sabbath day because it's a joy. It's a delight. That you want to turn away from doing wickedness and idolatry and having evil hate in your heart towards your brother and sister. You're teaching these things out of love so the Most High can save their life and give them eternal life. You're not doing this so you can be elevated above men and be all puffed up and be seen. You're just doing this so you can save at least one soul. So when he comes back and said, this one life I gave to you, this talent I gave to you with all those lives, be it the ability to sing, be it to dance, be able to run, be able to praise, whatever talent he gave you, you use that talent tenfold to win souls. Peace to the 12 tribes. Shalom.